The Children's Food Trust is a national charity on a mission to get every child eating well. That means making sure kids have the healthy diet and practical cooking skills they need to get off to a great start with food. By helping them eat better today, we're creating the healthier adults of tomorrow. We know that when children eat better, they do better. When we ask people who taught them to cook, the answer is almost always the same: my mum, my grandma, or another relative. We know cooking offers much more than the skills to put food on a plate. The benefits to a child's development can include improvements in literacy and numeracy, organisation and social skills, self-esteem, personal achievement, and pride in themselves. Children who learn to cook with their mums and grandmothers make memories that last a lifetime and are more likely to pass those skills down the chain to their own children and grandchildren. But for some children, the chain is broken. For reasons beyond their control, the connection between some children and their families is lost or was never there at all. They live in care with a foster family or in a residential home. Their carers, however dedicated to their role, are strangers to them.
I've been a foster carer for 16 years and I couldn't tell you how many children I've looked after in that time. There's been so many. To be honest, hardly any of them have ever cooked before. Some of the children have been brought up on a diet of sweets and crisps, so most things you find in the kitchen are very alien to them.
They used to cook different food for the children in their care. Not stuff like I would eat. Usually it was pork, which is something I can't eat. It's something that's not in my culture.
I studied a lot after school and I had to travel 3 miles back to my foster home, and our carer was really rigid about meal times, so if I missed any of them I just had to go hungry.
Thankfully, this doesn't have to be the case. Here at the Children's Food Trust, we have a programme to get children in care and their carers cooking together. We educate carers about the importance of passing on cooking skills, and we encourage them to cook with the children at home or set up cooking clubs. We give them the skills and the confidence to get cooking. Cooking and eating a meal together is about much more than just sharing food. Every day we see children's lives transformed simply by spending time cooking with carers and other children.
Claire came into care when she was 7. She sat down for a meal with her foster family and asked who was going to call for the takeaway. A home-cooked meal was something she'd only had a handful of times in her life. She was overweight and malnourished. She expected meals to arrive in a box covered in grease. The cooking club was a real eye-opener for her. She became passionate about food. I'm pretty sure that she'll end up in the catering business when she's older, which is just a monumental shift.
Well, before we started, I had 5 individual children and they all wanted to do their own thing. But at the end, I had 5 children all working together as a team to make a brilliant meal week after week. One day, we were running late for our cooking session, so I asked them if they'd like fish and chips instead. But they all agreed it didn't matter how late they ate, they'd all rather cook.
Sam, who's visually impaired, cooked the whole family a full roast dinner, which they loved. Sam's condition means that he may eventually become completely blind, but he's confident that he'll be able to continue cooking because he's so skillful now and enjoys it so much.
The Children's Food Trust, with funding from Iceland Foods Charitable Foundation, will be running a UK-wide programme to teach foster carers and children's residential care home staff to cook with the children in their care. This year, you have the chance to do something so simple yet so special that it will change a child's life forever. We're asking you to help a child to cook.